What?
What's up, Wolf Nation?
Excuse me?
Time
Wolf
for
Nation.
another episode
What a Porget.
of EVW and the Four Jagoffs. My name is EVW.
Bro, you starting to sound like David Ruffin in the Temptations over there.
Hey! You bring
Relax.
you bring the captain of Wolf Nation back,
Yeah.
please. Thank you very much.
What
Captain's
is it?
here.
What is a hey, oh Captain, my captain? What the hell's a Porgist?
I don't know.
I think
have-
you meant
I
to
don't
say
have a-
projects.
I don't have a dictionary.
I mean, I've been
I
known
think
to.
Chris
You
meant
ain't,
to say projects.
Chris, what's a porject? Chris, if you're still here,
is that
This
is
is
that
where
like,
all the
enlighten
pork
me.
from
is
Star
that
Wars.
French Canadian for projects? Like I don't know what's going on.
The port
he is in Montreal.
That's why I wanted
projects
that.
is like poor and projects.
Ricky lives in the projects. Ho, 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 ho.
Sucking on too much.
Oh,
poutine
the
over there.
projects. Oh.
Like Vendetta said, the Porjects. He got you,
Hey,
Derek. He was with you on that one.
As for someone who grew up in the projects, I'm getting very offended right now.
That's cool. I grew up in them too. So
Why? I did in a French accent. Don't worry about it. I'm talking about you.
Triggered.
But look at us now, grown ass adults playing with toys. We made
Cancel-
it. Look, Ma, we
Cancel
made
Crashbox.
Yeah,
Oh,
How
no.
great say.
Hashtag.
Never.
Hashtag cancel Chris. Uh-oh.
See,
Let's see how that works out.
Esteban likes Wolf Nation.
That's
like
the monster.
Esteban.
That's my
Love Wolf
likes
Nation.
every
That's
month.
good.
That's it. That's
Love
the
Esteban.
monster on
Protect
timeout.
that man at all costs.
I'm a card carrying member of the Wolf Nation. Let's get it.
Let's go. Who's Ridiculous Badger? I don't know the stranger.
He's in a lot of the chat squads, and I know it's somebody that we know. It's just
Who are you, Ridiculous
That's
Badger?
right.
Do I
wanna
know
be
you?
next to the captain.
when you're not. You're underneath him. He's duking on you.
I'm going to be near the captain.
You're near some part of the
I'm gonna
captain
be his
you might not wanna
lieutenant.
near to.
Hey, the poors are the people who are complaining about a $200 HasLab.
Mm.
Oh, let's
I'm
just
not
get into that
poor,
then.
But at the same time, I'm still complaining about that. But I guess we'll talk about that later.
Hey, Vendetta, that I will to the day I die say that not for resale government cheese makes the best mac and cheese. I don't care what anybody says. That stuff's the jam.
Mm.
Okay, he works with the show Z. Okay.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks for the
I need
thanks
you to
for the
hit me up
roller.
on personal messenger because I give y'all lots of my money, Ridiculous Badger. We need to become friends.
Yeah, thanks
I
for
just
telling
got
me
something in from y'all yesterday, and y'all took some more of my money today.
Bullshit.
Thanks for selling me the roller. Anyway, everyone's here, full house. Isn't that exciting? We got Gort, we got Mr. Triggered EE, we got Ricky, and we got Captain, Vice President of Wolf Nation, Mr. Derek B.
What's up, Wolf Nation?
God bless.
I'm about to boot them both from the show. At
Do
this
it.
point.
I don't
Hope you
care.
are.
I will go to bed. You think I could shit?
Don't steal my line.
Gee.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Wow,
Oh,
nice
God.
to know how much you appreciate being here.
Don't steal my line. Cornfield is a bed break for me, sir.
God.
Listen, I'll kick everybody off with
You
just
have-
me and Gort.
Gort, tell us what you think about Ahsoka. All right, now kick us all off.
I agree with him. Our thoughts are pretty much in agreement.
I haven't watched that yet.
I haven't watched the
I-
latest episode.
I'm trying.
So
Don't
don't say
bother.
anything.
Don't bother.
Please.
Filoni Nation.
Filoni Nation.
Yeah.
Wrong show.
Filoni
Wolf
boiled
Nation.
all his baloney in that
Talking
show.
about David Filoni.
Filoni and Wolf, they're synonymous.
Filoni baloney.
How?
He likes wolves.
He
That
had the
goes
wolf
home
thing,
and
dude.
fucks wolves. That's why. You serious?
Are you even a Star Wars fan?
Yeah.
Wolfie?
I don't know. I don't fucking know about his personal shit. I don't give a shit. Anyway, let's go around and talk to people like we actually pretend we care about the. Hey, everyone. Hey, Gord, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I love Ahsoka. I love Star Wars. I love Filoni. How are you doing, Eric?
Oh God, I just almost threw up for you.
Somebody call Audrey. Somebody's impersonating Gort.
There was absolutely nothing genuine about that.
No.
Not even the
doing-
last part we asked.
Hey,
how you
everybody,
were
I
doing.
like Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ridiculous Badger is a show Z. He's our show Z friend.
Man, you 10 minutes behind. We already had that
Yeah,
conversation.
are you laughing?
I'm responding to his comment. So.
I did too.
Oh, okay.
That was when I was saying I just gave y'all money.
Sorry,
yesterday.
I was too busy. I was too busy focusing on being a dedicated member of Wolf Nation
Right.
and listening to Wolf.
You got any good stories? Any But anybody at work bothering you lately? You want to vent to us?
No, been a good week. Next.
What was so good about it? Tell us.
Next.
What's so good?
Derek, how's your week?
Y'all done pissed them off at the beginning of the show. I hate all y'all.
Derek, how are you?
Hey, Captain Wolf. I'm
Oh,
doing
this one
great.
thing did happen, but I
See,
forgot
I knew
what
he
it
was going to do that. I knew he was going to do that. He is so freaking predictable. Every daggone
Got
2 weeks
him.
we got to do with this with him. Yeah, got me. Yeah, he does this every time. I'm good.
Oh, I'm gonna do it all night at this point to everybody, just the way everybody just cut me off when Wolf
Go
asked me how
if
I
you
was
will.
doing. So
I didn't.
Thank you.
yeah, you all did, except
Negative.
For so yeah, tonight's show is gonna be a shit show. Everybody, be prepared. Strap in.
No, it's
So
not.
same as always, heard.
What's
Because no, it's not.
as opposed to
because
the
my
previous
captain
30
is
episodes?
running this joint.
29.
Hey, but no, for real. Nah, dude, it's been a great week actually.
This one time at band camp.
I didn't go to band camp this week. That was last week. But I was on vacation this week, and this is the last week of my vacation. I go back to work next week, and I'm not looking forward to it. So, I'm, just trying to, maintain and soak up all that, vacation goodness before I
I
go
don't
in.
know.
I'm ending it with my trip to PA tomorrow and Sunday at RetroCon. I'm looking forward to having some fun. I'm looking forward to a good concert with with the Cybertronic Spree featuring Stan Bush. Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be an incredible weekend.
Are you gonna crowd surf?
I've never been so excited to see robots do cover songs.
Have you ever
since
been a
last
huge
year.
fan of a group or a singer and then 30 years later seen them when they're well past their prime? Has that ever worked out well for you in the past?
And yes,
It never works out, but it's still
Okay.
an exciting. It's still an exciting experience.
Do you think when
man.
he sings The Touch, do you think he's going to be wearing a Viagra t-shirt?
No, I hope not. I really hope not because that's really gonna, sour
I
my
would die.
weekend. Now he can't even wear a V shirt. He can't even wear anything looks like a V. Because I'm gonna just think about this episode and be like, "Fuck." Anyway, so yeah, Wolfie, I've been having a great week. Unfortunately, my vacation is almost over, but I'm ending it on a good note, and I am all set for Monday. But Cap, how was your week?
We gotta go talk to Ricky first.
No, you don't. Move along.
Do?
Nope. He said,
Oh,
fuck me
did
too.
you
Move
skip?
right on. Nope.
Come
move
on.
right along.
You skipped Ricky,
I
not
skipped-
you. You.
No,
Not
because
you
I'm
above you,
used to
but
the
do
circle.
You.
I'm used to the circle, so
You skip Ricky.
because he asked me. Okay, he went there. I'm sorry, my bad. Hey, Cap, that's all on me.
Who's leading the show tonight? Pick.
I'm not. That's all on me, Cap. My bad. Go ahead, do your thing, Cap.
This is the Ray Charles Stevie Wonder Express tonight, man.
I feel like we gotta start over.
All right, roll the theme music again. We'll do it again.
Ricky, how are you? How was your week?
Awesome. Next.
Don't pull this shit. Come on.
Hey, Captain Wolfie, how was your week?
Get your own joke.
See, Wolfie. Hey, Cap. That's why you always do me last, because that way it's consistent. So,
Ugh.
just saying.
Phrasing. Ugh.
I love you, Ralphie.
Yeah.
It
I
was
see what
fine.
you did there.
I only see two of them, so ain't me.
It was fine. Worked a lot. Now I got a long stretch off, which is nice. Hung out with y'all, talked with y'all some of y'all. That's pretty much it. Oh, baseball season starting back. We did that Wednesday. Went for their beginning of the season tryouts, so got that over and done with.
Yeah. Eli needs a medical. He wants to try out for soccer.
Nice.
No, I mean, not really. Like, dude, like you picked the one sport I can't help you with. Like you pick, of all the sports that I played, and all you pick soccer.
How hard is it to kick a ball?
I don't know, but I'm not.
I don't think that's the hard part of soccer.
I mean,
I
the
think
conditioning
running,
for soccer is
running nonstop.
insane.
For 2
But
hours
I
is
mean,
crazy.
I
Play
can't.
soccer.
I don't even watch soccer. I can't even tell you the fucking rules. I know you got to kick a ball in the net, and that's it. And I know you can't use your hands. That's all I can tell you. Like,
There's a
okay,
lot involved in
you
soccer. There's
know,
a lot of conditioning for it as well.
and then he
And
was
if you,
talking about doing the football team.
hmm
Let me tell you something about my son, right?
mm,
Um,
Football. Football.
football's not for him. I don't think he does not have that mentality to take a hit and get back up. I think
He's like, okay,
it's
I'm
it's
out.
just
oh,
not in
okay.
him. He's just never been that kid. He's always been a little more.
Like, what's his size like? Is he like?
He'll be taller than me. It looks like at this rate, but
But is he?
Low
I
bar.
mean, in
yeah,
addition to
exactly.
height,
So
does he have the heft?
no, he's a skinny kid. He's not. No offense, rail thin like Gort, but he's like
He's
he's
no
not
Gort, but he's
chunky or
definitely
fat
no
at all.
Ricky.
Yeah,
I would have
he's
said, I would have
he's in
said Vinny,
shape.
but
Insane.
He's in shape.
Hey,
He's
rounds are
fine. He
shape.
does run
shout
around
out
with
to
his
Vinny. What up, Vinny?
he runs around with his friends. They play basketball after school. Like he's not a but he's not a real athletic kid. Like I would never take a video of him throwing and send it to anybody. Um, and the only time he has ever touched a football has been when we've been at the beach.
Mm.
So like it's just I don't know where it came from, but I was like, hey, you want to do it? Go right ahead. I'm not gonna stop you.
I mean, he
You know,
may develop a passion for it,
you're
and
right. You may surprise me, but
yeah,
I think probably soccer is more up his alley. But we'll see. You know,
okay.
where the fuck you been when I've been telling you to play sports for the past fucking 10 years?
Mm. How old is he now?
14,
14. Okay.
14.
And
All right.
real quick, can I ask Ricky a question real quick, Wolfie, real quick? So you said baseball season get ready to start, and you got tryouts. So the boys are playing for the same team, though, right?
It doesn't
Oh,
happen like that because it's rec ball. So it's like we had the same coach for like same head coach for like 4 years when he was younger, and every year we were a different team. They don't. It doesn't work that way. I don't know how they choose
oh,
the team names and all of that, but usually we end up with the same coach. The coach we were with for years, the head coach, he moved on to travel ball, and then that's when I was coaching with him. Like I started as an assistant coach with that head coach, and then when he left, started coaching with the a couple other guys, and then they were the Indians 1 year and the Dodgers 1 year. I mean, it's different every single. Because I'm really weird about the hats. They give us hats with our uniform, but they're like the
Mhm.
strap back hats, and I fucking hate those kind of hats. I'm a fitted hat guy. So every fucking year I have to buy a new fitted baseball cap from Amazon. So I have like 50 million baseball caps of teams I don't give a crap about. He doesn't even play for anymore. I'm
mm,
hoping one of those circle back so I can just reuse one of these hats I have instead of having to get a new one.
okay.
So I won't know yet. The tryouts for and this is not trying to sound any kind of way. It's just a fact. Tryouts for him are literally just because it's requirement. Like he's pulled for all stars and travel ball and all that stuff. So it's literally just a requirement that everybody has to go through it. And then whichever
Okay.
coach has a team and says, "Hey, we want him here," that's where we end up.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I was wondering because if he's playing for the same team, I was wondering if he had to try out for the same position or how that works. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
it's 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 a non-starter. That's his position. Like that's what I told him. I was like, if you're gonna choose a position, pick one that you like,
Hmm.
and you get good at that. You're not gonna bounce around everywhere. That's not how you can have fun playing all them other places. But if he says he wants to take it serious, like he wants. I'm talking to my ex-wife trying to get her on page with travel ball again because the last few times we did travel ball, if it happened while he was at her house, he'd be late to games. They would forget gear at her house, stuff like that.
Mm,
And it became a big, and that's expensive and it's not cheap and it's never here in town. We were traveling all over the state for it. Um, so I told him, I was like, we're not doing it again unless she gets 100% on page, like, and agrees with, like, the night before a game, you're staying at my house. So that way, and your gear is staying at my house all the time.
mm,
You load up, we go, boom,
yeah.
done. Don't have to worry about nothing. And she's this close to saying yes because that's what he said he wanted for his birthday was to go back to doing travel ball. Um,
Right.
and so if we can get her on the same page, he'll be back at spring ball doing travel ball again because he feels like he'll have a better shot at high school baseball if he does travel ball. Me, I'm like that's not necessarily true. I mean, It's just like, it unfortunately a lot of it's treated like the majors now, where they do look at stuff like that before they'll take you to a high school team.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're good and you walk out there for tryouts and you do better than those other people, then you'll get picked.
It doesn't hurt. Also
Yeah.
means he keeps playing, and the
Yep.
more you play, the better you get.
Yep.
Maybe that's why he might think travel ball is that important, just
Well,
so
it's
that
not
you
that he
just
doesn't
keep
stop.
playing all year
Yeah.
long. Like
Well,
just
the
keep
travel ball,
playing.
the way they line it up here, it overlaps with like rec ball. So it ends up you have to choose one or the other, because for at least part of the season, like if we do it in spring ball, if we were doing rec ball, halfway through the season, travel ball's starting up. So now we're not even in town. We're out of town every weekend for the games. So he can't do rec ball at that point because the games are here in town.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind we tried doing that. What you were saying is trying to do, so it just led from one to the other. But the way they do this rec ball league here, it doesn't. Um, I try. I appreciate you for saying that, man. It's not me doing good. It's them making it easy for me. So
That's
I just try to back them on stuff they want to do. We make it happen. And Gabriel's into, he does like the mathletes and stuff like that. So we go to all his things like that he does. So try whatever they're into. So, but yeah, that's it. Sorry, long story. Baseball starting again.
All right.
No worries.
Go team.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I'm sure we'll hear all about him.
High school just started for him. Like this has been his first 2 days of high school this year,
Mm-hmm.
so new school and everything, and he's coming back with all these wild things that he wants to do. And I was like,
That's
let's
what I'm
go.
saying is
You want to play football? I'll take you out in the back, and I'll fucking hit
Mhm.
you a couple times and see if you can take it.
take it. That's it. Go run.
You know, let me
tackle
run
that
you over a
tree.
couple times. You know,
That's
let's see
it.
what happens.
Go tackle that tree. See what happens. That's it. But you see, that's the thing is, we were just talking. Your son actually started high school this year,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
this is what
Thursday
kind
was
of
his first day. Yeah.
it finally triggered for me that Isaac is taking this serious. He just started middle school. He's still got 3 years of this before he's even in high school, and he's already worrying about what's going to happen in high school. I'm like, okay, so he's not at the playing around point. I'm not that
Mm-hmm.
soccer dad trying to relive my glory days through him and all that stuff. It's always been whatever he wants to do. And I've just kind of, sure, let's do it. But he came to me very serious and earnest about it. And I was like, okay. I said, that happens. I mean, if you want to do it that way, then we're going to do it that way. That means we're going to be at the batting cages. We're going to be in the backyard. I mean, if you're going to take it serious, I'll take it serious with you. If you want to do it just as father and son hangout time, I'll do that too. I mean, however you want to handle it. And he came to me with that high school talk. And I'm like, dude, you got 3 years to high school. He's like, I know, but I need to start practicing now. I was like, okay, let's do it.
There you go.
So off of baseball, Captain, drive this ship, man. Quit letting that idiot talk about baseball for so long.
Oh no, it was your turn.
Sorry, you sounded so passionate. I didn't want to interrupt.
It's my kids. I'm always passionate about
Yeah.
them, man.
All right, good for you.
I think we're just gonna default Wolf to host every week for now on.
Why?
Because Wolf
No one
Nation.
wants that. No one wants that.
No.
Ratings are so low right now.
Yeah, but when you host, it's all I don't know. I think when a lot of us host, it's the energy when we start is all like,
It
yeah.
builds up. You come in flying.
All right. Well, anyway, is it my
You have
turn?
to wear a different costume every week. And yes, how has your week been, sir?
You know, I want to have a conversation with you guys about being a shitty friend.
I know where you're going with it.
No, let's just have a conversation. I was at work today and come home, say hi to Crystal. And Crystal, did I get any mail today? Oh look, okay, I'm getting the spotlight. She said, "Yeah, it's on a table here." So I go over and there's a bill from my hospital visit and there's a bill from my doctor and there's two Amazon envelopes. All right, and I'm a little confused because I haven't ordered anything from Amazon. I'm waiting for a snow serpent, but these aren't big enough for snow serpents. So I open them up, and I'm laughing pretty hard because I got these little Hardy things from
Those aren't hearts, dude. You
Hey,
got them
I'm talking-
reversed.
my story. You just shut up,
Right.
baseball guy.
Didn't you get? It was Joe, right? Joe just
Let
told
him
me
tell his
Can I tell the
story.
story?
Wow.
What did I just say? What did I
I don't
say?
know. I was reading comments. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. I want to share a screen with you real quick. You're probably all wondering, like, hey, what's that all about? I don't get it. Well, let me see if I can share my screen here. If you're Facebook friends with me, my own guys, I can't see. There it is. If you're Facebook friends with me, you might have noticed that I shared this picture about a couple days ago, and but I thought to myself, hey, wait a minute, something's not right here, and I noticed this. If you turn them upside down, they look like a small pair of truck nuts. So, I got two little notes today. One says, when you feel down, turn this upside down, rub it, and think of me, from Joe. Joe meaning Joe S. Joe, I don't know, Cyrons, Siren, whatever. You know you are, Joe, if you're in the chat. And I got another one, same day. It says, make sure you turn it upside down, from Anonymous. So, Anonymous has confessed already. He couldn't hold out. That was Logan. I guess Logan decided to get on it.
You got burnt by a 12-year-old, man.
I got burnt by a 12-year-old. So, I guess my question to both of them is, did you plan this simultaneously? Did you plan this?
Yo, hey,
Hang on,
did you put
hang
that on
on.
your wish list or something?
That's the best part of the universe is it probably wasn't planned and it just happened.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, I don't know. Did they plan it, or was this like, hey, let's both do something stupid,
I didn't know
yeah.
they were that small.
That's what she said.
That's what Crystal says to me.
They're 1-to-1 wolf size.
I burnt myself.
Somebody said that. Like, I think in the messages they're like, it was
Yeah,
crap.
that's
Oh, man.
that's more reasons why I have awful friends. You read some of those comments, they're like,
Man.
they must have been cast by your real life balls.
And then one of your other friends was like, I was going to ask the same thing. I'm glad you beat me to
I'm
it.
gonna do the same thing because I'm also a dick. Yeah, we're part of the Dick Squad. Let's go, Dick Squad. Anyway,
Oh yes, you should put him on the back of his tank.
I was gonna put him on the back of MP10.
No, put him
Oh.
the his tank and your thunder tank.
Wow.
Oh, definitely.
Thunder
Put a set on the
tank?
back
That's
of the
a good
thunder
one.
tank.
That's a
Put a
good
set on
one.
the back of the thunder tank.
The dragonfly. Dragonfly should get a set hanging from there.
No, dude, that's a helicopter.
Definitely the his tank.
No,
There's
Joe's,
more on the
Joe,
way.
the Joes
I
are
would've said
more
there's more
classy
on the way.
than having
Damn.
truck nuts. Anyway, so that was funny. I laughed a lot. Thank you, Joe and Logan. Again, if you plan this, I fuck both of you. But,
And if you didn't
What's
plan it,
for
that's
one?
awesome.
Wes, what's the Thunder tank?
Yeah,
And
what's the
two,
thunder tank?
Are you actually watching the show? Because we literally just said that like 10
That's
minutes, like
that's
5
the
seconds
Wish
ago.
version of the thunder. That's the ramen thunder tank.
Pay
Is the thunder
attention,
tank.
Wes. Pay
That's
attention,
right.
Wes.
That's ramen's thunder tank is the thunder tank.
All right, leave Wes alone. He's probably Wes is a few joints in. Leave him alone.
Man, golly.
Oh goodness.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, that's a great end of the week. So thank you, thank you everyone.
You got some real,
That's-
you got some real ballsy friends there, Wolfie.
Ching.
Waka waka.
Right. All right. Who has a showcase for me tonight? Rick, you got a showcase?
Yeah, I guess.
You want to do a showcase?
I mean, fine. If nobody else wants to do it, I guess I can do something.
Play that
I'll do it.
beautiful. Play that beautiful music. Someone.
It's time for the collector showcase.
Okay, I just noticed this. I'll tell you after this.
What?
Did you just notice that it was backwards the showcase? Is that what you were gonna say?
Go ahead, Ricky. I'm
No, what'd you just notice? No, I want to hear it because we're gonna be here a minute.
Yeah, don't leave
Okay,
everybody in
so
suspense.
When the joint plays, right up in the top left corner, it's like EE is peeking through that little crack by the paper.
Run it again. I want to see it.
It's time for the collector showcase.
Oh yeah, there he is.
A whole year of it, we never noticed he was.
You
not
never
doing
noticed
it.
I never noticed that.
That's funny. That's funny.
What do you got for us, buddy?
We'd been talking about a couple different things along the way, and first I want to give a shout out to our dude Eric B for ruining my wallet. We'll get there eventually, but we're gonna start with these. These are the DC Universe, I believe. It's been forever since I've had them, and I don't keep shit in boxes, so they immediately went in the garbage. But I'm a big fan of the death and return of Superman's storyline. When I was younger, it's because I was a dickhead and I liked Batman and fuck Superman. I was glad he died. As I got older, it's just because it was a very interesting story. That they could actually take time to do that, to like wipe out somebody as big as Superman. And then I really loved the Reign of the Superman, the 4 follow-up characters. Like, I thought they were great additions. And so I was following it all. I bought all the comics back in the day. I had the Black Armband and all that kind of crap. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get something because I forgot to bring something in here. So I'm going to see if my wife will fetch it for me while we're talking. So I just wanted to talk about some of these. I have the whole run. We're going to go here. I forgot to pull a picture to have somebody show. So Google it. I don't care. Mafex is putting out newer versions of these. In fact, I've already pre-ordered
Eradicator.
Eradicator looks good.
The Last Son of Krypton, or the Eradicator. I love this character. Hold on one second. Eric, talk for a second.
Ricky's
So
holding the figure.
those look like the DC Universe classics.
Yes, I believe that's accurate.
Good old Scott
You can tell by
Knightlick
the stupid feet. They have those
and
stupid
the
blocks.
molding on the arms.
Yeah.
Good old Scott Knightlick.
Those do not have ankle tilt, right?
They have tilt, but they have like
No
these
rockers.
big
No rocker,
fat
yeah.
block feet. Like they're crazy how they look. I'm showing these two first because we don't have these yet. Because I have the upgraded versions we're going to talk about. This was always one of my favorite. I have the SNES game. I've played it through with my kids. I love playing it, and he has the coolest superpower in that game. You know, the whole screen just kind of blacks out and he floats there and like just kills everybody on screen. I loved his superpower. And then I just thought he was cool. You know, this hit when I was like 12, 13 years old, and leather jacket and sunglasses was about the coolest shit you could fucking get at 12. So I thought that was cool. I love this design of the Cyborg Superman. I thought it was really cool. They paid super close attention to it was like brought up in the storyline how all these pieces that were replaced with the cyborg parts were actually the parts that Doomsday destroyed on Superman, like when he was fighting him. So it trying to sell that this was actually Superman, because that was the story. Is the 4 guys came out and they were all claiming to be Superman except for Steel. Steel never claimed to be Superman,
Right.
But the other 3 were all claiming to be the real Superman. And that was his selling point: is look, this is where Doomsday damaged me, and I had to replace it all as robotics. Spoiler alert for a 35-year-old or 30-year-old comic, he's the bad guy. He's not Superman. Right. So they ruined that for you. Talk.
Still waiting?
I have a question for you, actually, Ricky.
What do you think he's saying right now?
Well, I'm about to send something to Gort right now so that he can share
Okay.
the pictures of the new updated one that's coming out.
Oh, I got a couple of them.
Oh,
You're showing the Eradicator and stuff. Okay,
yeah, the Mafex ones. The Mafex ones.
Oh yeah, please show these.
I just sent them to Gort.
The Superboy, they only showed that one, like at one of the cons, and I don't think it was painted yet.
No, it was.
Was it painted on
Yeah,
Superboy?
he got a real leather jacket too. That's the best part.
Yeah, because I know the Eradicator. I've officially pre-ordered the Eradicator on BBTS. Like it became available, but Superboy's still not up.
So this is what
it's
Mafex. Yeah, this
is the Mafex one.
Look how good
gorgeous.
that looks.
It
That cape
is.
looks nice. There's a wire in there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they're wire. I'm gonna get to that. That's part of my thing I'm gonna talk about tonight. But yeah,
Hmm.
like on these ones, they're just hard plastic. Like they don't
Yeah.
do much of
You know,
crap.
yeah, the typical,
Um,
Marvel Legends, McFarlane, well, even McFarlane, the way these guys do their stuff.
so like I was showing the cyborg. I'll go ahead and grab because I have them right here. Um, this is the male
Yeah.
version of them.
I can't wait for this. It's like it's come out till June though of next year, I think.
Yeah, I know it's kind of annoying that it's not coming out for that long. This is so you can see a side by side. This is the two. This is the original, and then this is the Mafex. And one of the things, and we're going to talk about it tonight about comic accuracy. It always bothered me that he didn't have the Superman logo on his back like
Oh,
this one
yeah.
does.
Hmm.
And it's a whole off color. Like this is like a darker, almost brick brown, not
Like
an
a
actual
burgundy.
bright red.
Yeah.
But yeah, the articulation on this is crazy. He comes with, you could swap out his arm, so he has that laser cannon thing from the storyline,
Mhm.
and just like the detailing is so much better, and
Wire
it's
cape.
just it wired
Sent
cape.
you more pics, Squirt.
It's big time. It's big time. Like you can see, I can put play into this cape, messing around with it. I have them propped up, kind of floating in the air, in my display, so
Mhm.
it works better with the wired cape than it does without. Um, this stupid stand. I pulled it apart trying to take them out and show y'all. That's my biggest negative to Mafex is I don't like their modular stands because they come apart real easy. But yeah, that one. I mean, look how great that looks, and he better have either a
Jack
specs
looks pretty
head or
good.
his specs better come off.
That face does look a little goofy, but other than that,
It's very Katie Lang.
Oh wow, that's
that's the
goofier.
McFarlane.
There's,
I mean, the
there's a
the
shout out.
saturation in that picture is not doing it any favors. I
Yeah.
think.
No, you're
Yeah.
right.
Because in the other one, I think it's just that doesn't look too
All
bad.
right, from that angle, it's better.
No, yeah,
That's better.
and
It's
just
not
pretty sure
much,
this is a prototype. So
but I want
actually
the
looks
I want the
really,
sunglasses on him
real nice for
anyways.
that size.
You know, I still want the sunglasses on them. That's part of the look, so I kind of need that in my life. But yeah, like we're talking about the upgraded version, so you know I have him on his flight stand set up that way. This one you can't really do. Like he won't even like he's permanently A stance.
Is
Their
that a
legs.
clip that like is going around his waist there?
Oh yeah, this is the Mafex stand.
Okay.
So I because I have him in a floating position, I put the ball cupper and the clip around his waist, so he's well seated.
real quick side note. I know what you mean about the Mayfix hands, but I
Mhm.
was able to get him to hold that stand. Have been holding up my Marvel Legends Sauron
Uh-huh.
in a flying pose where it looks like he's flying like at you
Hmm.
for months now without
Oh yeah,
once you get him good in that position,
yeah,
it'll hold. But yeah, the fact that they come apart just kind of
yeah. That's
take,
my
takes away from
biggest
their
negative.
stability.
Yeah, that's my biggest negative on the Mafex is their modular stands. I have one other negative in this set of stuff we're going to talk about, but I'll get there when I get there. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite ones with Steel. Not that trashy ass fucking Shaq movie, but the legitimate Steel
Poor Shaq.
character.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shaq.
Shaq does
Um,
not approve.
I was trying to so spoiler alert, I was trying to get
It's
my
hammer
wife.
time.
I actually have the novelization of the story of the Death and Return of Superman
Yeah,
that I've
yeah.
had since like 93 or 94, to the point where literally the front cover is just not even attached anymore. It's just sitting there, and she can't find it on my bookshelf. I meant to bring it in here and she couldn't find it, so I'll have to search it down and send a picture or some crap. But that was only going to help for a conversation we're going to have in a minute about this other figure and leading into our conversation for the night. So it doesn't really matter too much. But Steel had probably one of the best story arcs in the Reign of the Superman. Like his character was really great. Love the John Henry Irons story, and I hate that fucking movie. It is fucking trash. The fact that they took time to zoom in on Shaq's Superman steel tattoo and wubba dub dub their way through that shit and then act like it's not a Superman movie. Fuck that movie. So, anyways, this figure. These are all very good stand-ins. I'm not going to take it away. I've had these things for years. I like them. They're not bad. But then when you get the Mafex versions, they are well above and beyond. And then again, these were also $20 at like retail, $25 at retail. Mafex is $100. I mean, so they're gonna be better. but these were perfectly fine until I put hands on one of those
Oh,
Mafex ones.
neighbor's telling on you.
He was streaming the Shaq Steel movie this afternoon on the back porch. He loves it. Yeah, he must have been busy smoking meth with the guy across the street because that shit never happened. Um, so
I know Ricky was watching in the hotel room at Bacon.
yeah, I was because Eric had it on. Because that's his favorite movie. So the one of the bigger things, and you'll notice I said it earlier about the cape too. Besides the fact that it's just rubber. Um, is the colorations are all off on all these figures.
It
They're
looks
just
darker than even the other one did.
yeah. See, this is like a dark solid gray. This is a
Yeah,
very
like
very
maroon.
dark, yeah, almost maroon color, red. So the metallic stuff, it should be his whole uniform. It really stands out on him where they actually put the plating because this is like just a gray plastic. It was very weird. They did do a great job. That is one of the things I believe on this one that I noticed. Yeah. This is one spot that I think they beat the Mafex on is the riveting in the helmet. They took time to really highlight them all and paint them in, so you see all the rivets throughout the helmet. When we get to Mafex, you'll see they're just the same color as the helmet, so they kind of get lost in the sauce a little there. But other than that, still a great figure. All these are fine. Anybody that loves these, you're not wrong. I'm just saying
Yeah, you are.
this is a Toyota and that's a Mercedes. I mean, you can't really compare the two. Yes, they're both
Yeah.
cars, but they're not the same kind of cars.
Upgrade
So,
your figures, you pores.
yeah, you bunch of pores. So and I have his hammer somewhere. I was trying to find it for tonight, but it doesn't matter. It was just base gray plastic and was just meh. Um, but this is the upgrade. This is the Mafex version. You'll notice he's got like a bluish gray hue to him. That is very comic accurate. It's not like silver metal in the comics. It is almost that bluish gray. God, he's so washed out. Fucking
It's all right. It's all right. We
Yeah.
can see the bluish.
okay.
It's good enough.
Ricky, do your hand first, then move it in.
So hand first. Movement.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
you go.
Look at Gort teaching
Yep.
me stuff.
Yep.
So you can see the rivets on his head, like at
Mhm.
certain angles, but they just do blend in. So that is the one time that DC universe beat this one out. But other than that, great figure. His hammer is awesome. You
Yeah.
can take it apart and make it smaller, longer, however you want to.
Fuck yeah.
The one with the DC universe, it's weird. It tapers. It comes down to almost a point down here to be able to slide through those fixed hands.
Mhm.
But this one, again, it has the wired cape, allowing you to put motion fluidity into it. Like I love that they actually took time to do this with these capes because it makes dynamic posing very. It's a lot easier and it makes it look
Yeah,
nice.
they do it with the Batman's,
Yep.
Magneto's cape
Yep.
is fucking
Yep.
phenomenal.
Up until these three figures that I'm showing, I only ever owned one other Mafex, and I have them right up there. Is the Hush Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And that figure blew my mind. But then right after that one is ones where you start seeing everybody talking about the Mafex issues, like the hips falling off and this, that. And I was like, okay, well, I got lucky with this one. I'm not, for $100, I'm not fucking with this line anymore. But then they came back through again and they fixed all their issues. And then Eric B, love that dude. Hit me off on these. I think we were talking one time about the death of Superman, and he's like, "Oh, you guys see this?" And he showed me, I believe it was the Cyborg Superman, and then we
The
started
rabbit
talking,
hole begun.
and that was it. That was ball game.
Yeah.
But great figure, love it. Of the three I have so far, this one's still probably my favorite, and it probably will be until Superboy or which call gets here, Eradicator. And then we're gonna get down to the last one of the set. Now, this figure I have, this was not a DC universe. I believe this was Icons. The ones that the kind of taller than normal ones that they put out a few years ago. I think it's DC Collectibles made the Icons at the same time
I
Mattel
think
was
the
making the
Icons was the
universe.
smaller line, and then there was another one. They had two lines. They had two scale lines. I think Icons was the smaller line. I don't remember.
I thought Icons was
Um,
the bigger one that came in
yeah,
like
I
the
think
white
there was.
boxes and stuff,
Yeah, I
and
think
they
that
had
was
like
the
the Capullos.
smaller
Well,
line.
this is the other one then, because this guy's slightly bigger than the DC Universe guys, but it's the Recovery Suit Superman. And I'll show you, like, he's that much bigger than the steel that came out. I never saw a recovery suit by this same line. They might have, but I never saw it. But I found this one, and it's a great figure. I mean, he's solid. He's got good articulation and stuff like that. Um, but JG, then what was the ones with the taller ones that were like the white, that they did like the Capullo figures and all that kind
And
of stuff?
that plastic is like really, really
Yeah,
hard
it's like
plastic, right?
solid. Yeah,
That's the taller line that
designer
they did.
series, designer series.
Maybe I don't remember the name. I
Yeah.
guess it don't matter.
But it's one
So
of those. It's one of
yeah,
those, and I finally got a hold of them just so I could have one for the set. And the part of the conversation we're having tonight with accuracy is the one thing that I really disliked about this, and that is he has a very nice tight fade with a pretty, Razor Ramon curly Q there. Shout out to Wes because he'll get that. Um,
where's the
like
mullet?
that's it. He's not mullet, man. And as much as I hate a mullet, that was 1000% part of the story at that time. I mean, even when Superman came back, that's why I wanted that book, because when you open up the page, the first thing it has is the art of Superman after he returns, after the whole story is over, and he has the full suit back on again, and then here he is with his mullet flying through the air over Metropolis. Like, it was part of the story. I didn't have to like it; it was part of it. So I went off and got the Mafex because it is gorgeous. I mean, they did a great job, but more importantly, he has his mullet. He's there for the work in front, party in the back. Like, he's there for it. Um, this is the only one that I've gotten so far that made me hesitate on this line. And that is for along the same reasons that, like, with the Snarf and the Super 7 line, the price didn't change. Like, his price is the same as Steel's, as the same as Cyborg Superman. And what you see is what you get in that box, with a couple hand swaps and regular boots that don't have the blast effect plug onto them. That's it, for the same $100 as all the other figures. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. A lot of people that don't remember the story or whatnot, he should have machine guns. Like, in the story, he used guns because he didn't have his powers anymore. He was still recovering, hence recovery suit. But he had giant machine guns that he ran down blasting everybody. But of course, DC's rules of no guns and all that horse shit. So I'll eventually find some nice looking guns to get to him. But he's still a phenomenal figure. But he was definitely, it didn't, this other guy, as nice as it didn't scratch my itch because it wasn't right in my head. I know a lot of people don't care about that kind of stuff, and that's what we're going to get into when we're talking. And I'm kind of at the end of this, except for I'm really looking forward to the next two. I hope Mafex does a legitimate Doomsday that is comic accurate, because I would probably go in for that too, just to really just wrap up that whole set. So these Mafexes, well worth the cost to get in. They are great figures. And that's about it for my showcase, guys.
All right. So I have a question.
I got answers.
So you saw the latest Death of Superman.
The cartoon one?
Yeah.
Yep.
What'd you think? Because they did one before. They did one before that without getting into
Doomsday.
Yeah, Doomsday. They did one before that, but without getting into the in-depth characters and all that. What did you think of that second one compared to the comic version?
It kind of falls under the same thing as the Hush movie that they just made.
Okay.
It's fine. It's a story. I don't need an exact literal translation of the comics to a movie, but closer to is a lot better for me than far away. And they changed a lot. And I don't like the new 52 design of Superman anyways, so I'm not a huge, those comic movies that they have out right now are great. Those cartoon ones, that's the best thing DC puts out right now. But I am not a fan of all the designs because they went with the new 52, obviously. So it was okay. I didn't hate it. It wasn't trash. I've watched it more than once, which is more than I can say about most of them.
Yeah.
But it did change a lot. But they also try to compress a lot of story. A lot of people forget that death of Superman, that was one of the things that I always thought was ballsier about that than in the Zack Snyder. Like in the live action movie, they killed him, and then 15 minutes later, you got a stinger showing that he's coming back to life. Like there was no balls of leaving Superman dead in that movie at all. In the comics, you didn't get any hint of that shit for like 3 to 6 months into the run before they even started talking about maybe Superman was still around
Right.
and maybe there was a way to bring Superman back. It was just all about the four reign of the Superman. And then
I-
even after that, it still took another 6 months for them to wrap that whole story up. So you're looking at a year's comic arc over 4, 5, 6, 7 main titles at least, and probably more than I'm not even thinking of. But you had like all four of the Reign of the Superman. You had the actual Superman comic. You had the Justice League comics, and I believe you had the West Coast like Justice League 2 or whatever the other Justice League was. Like I think all of them were concurrently running Superman stories and crossovers for like a year to get that whole story out. And then that movie took an hour and 15 minutes to tell the same story. There's no fucking way. Too much hits the cutting room floor for that. But
no, remember, it was a 2-part movie. So
yeah, it still a whole year's worth of comics. That's 12 for each one of those comics 7 times. So what is that? 90. What am I looking at? 81 comics, some crap like that. 94
was it that
comics.
many?
I don't know. It is a shit ton of comics. I'm not trying to do math. I've been drinking. And like Gort said,
No,
numbers
there
don't
was a
matter.
lot, but it was.
But yeah, it's a lot. Like even Nightfall. If you look back at Nightfall, everybody thinks that was a short thing. I have the collections, and they're 3 books, and each one of those books is probably 3 inches thick, 2 to 3 inches thick, and each one of them is just full from comics from front to back to finish the Nightfall story. Like it was a year run. There's a lot of comics. So I liked the movie. Didn't love it. It was fine. If for somebody who just wants to hear the story and doesn't care about that comic stuff or didn't grow up with the comic stuff, it was fine. That one was better than that one that they put out a few years ago. That Doomsday movie or whatever that nonsense was a few years ago. Esteban, to answer your question, I wasn't around at that, but I did actually have the DC collectible ones where they split them into the electric ones. A friend of mine, Will, out in Texas, is a huge Superman fan. Like how I have multiple Batman tattoos, he has multiple Superman tattoos, and those were 2 that he never had. And I actually had those figures in this DC Universe line, and I sent them to him for like his birthday one year. But yeah, it's Superman was one of those things that like I never got it. Like he's fine, he's okay. I think he's super overpowered. I think he's super overrated. Every time they paint themselves in the corners to get out of stuff with him because he is unstoppable. I mean, he literally started out just being able to run fast, be bulletproof, and jump high. And look where we are now. Like every time somebody figures out how to beat him, the comic writers just make up a whole new power set for him. So I just think it's it's boring.
All right. Anyway, thank you for sharing that, Riggy. Appreciate your showcase. So tonight, our topic is source material accuracy. How do you guys feel about how closely do you need an Avengers movie to follow an actual storyline, like the Infinity Gauntlet story or House of M or whatever? How close do you want your comic, your outfits to match, your costumes to match? Excuse me, the actual characters. Yeah, books, novels. What's good for you guys? How close do you want it to be? Gort, what do you start with you?
Like aesthetics do matter, but it's not everything. Like in terms of like costumes and things like that. I think if you have like the general idea, like the X-Men costumes, the black suits, I was never a fan of. I'm not sure that straight spandex and stuff is the right answer either, but there's got to be a happier medium there. I care more that the characterizations are correct, and that's something that Marvel was succeeding at the start of what they were doing. Maybe less now, because the characters were true to the core, tenets of who they are. They're behaving correctly. They're telling different stories, but it's not, out of the realm of what these characters are doing in those situations.
Bro, damn it.
Well,
Good job, Wolf.
Way to be a follower, Wolf.
But like the storylines don't need to be identical. That would be boring, I think. It just has to be in line with the general idea of it. 'Cause
What's
if you do it
something?
verbatim, it's not. I don't think it works. You know exactly what happens, and then it's shot for shot, and it's boring. That's like a live
Yeah,
action
exactly.
Disney remake of their own cartoons. Boring. Why would you do that? You shouldn't do that. You should never do that.
I bet you do, Brink. I bet you do.
He's not wrong. I mean,
Let's talk
just
about
to
that. How did everyone feel about that?
just to go
I
back
didn't
with
like.
what
Oh,
Real
I
quick,
didn't
just
like
Gordon.
her as.
for the audio people, Brink said I like Zendaya as MJ, but I want the ginger. So they didn't.
I
Obviously, they went with a different Mary Jane, MJ, whatever. So let's just how did everyone feel about that? That's a great example of something being totally
I
different.
Um,
wasn't
Strange
feeling it.
one to start with, though, because she's an MJ. She's not Mary Jane. You know, she's Michelle, but it makes it weirder because it's like they're doing a complete variation
Mhm.
on what the whole situation is. So it's technically not even the character. It's
Well, by the
obviously
third
supposed to
movie, they explained that to you to make up for the fact everybody was pissed about MJ and how she was acting.
um, so like I mean, you guys have probably heard me complain about stuff like this before. When you're making these movie adaptations off of books and comics and characters that have been around for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, like Gord said, with the move when it comes to the movies, I'm all for telling a brand new story, right? Uh, but when you're basing these characters off of, from these comic books that we've been reading forever, like me personally, like Gord said, like just keep the core tenets of who they are and what they're supposed to be intact, and I don't care what story you tell.
hmm
I don't, like that the Infinity Gauntlet story that we got in MCU was not the same story we got as kids,
no.
but it was great. The characters were all pretty much on point. Iron Man, how he got his powers, Captain America. You know, the castings were pretty good. It's funny. Normally I would have been very very upset about the MJ swap, but I think Zendaya is really hot. So I feel like a pervert for saying that
Like
because she's also very young.
She's legal. It's fine.
Yeah, but still, but
Legal, but
and
yeah.
I still, it also her being basically a side character bothered me less. Same thing like when they did the Ancient One, didn't bother me too much, like because I don't. Maybe it's because that particular character I don't care about, so it don't matter.
And
And
that one being the same character, like they're not. It's like I'm
yeah,
bringing up the discrepancy of the name change and things like that for the MJ. Like it's MJ, not Mary Jane.
yeah,
So, but that's my biggest
Like
problem about.
characters like the ancient one, like I think that's a bigger change. I didn't think that it was anything about it was done in poor taste or bad either. But like what they did to Flash Thompson in the Spider-Man movie. Like I like that
yeah,
less.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
That
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 was a
was
big
that was
difference.
really bad.
but the ancient one was still the same character in the movie,
Yeah.
like character
Yes,
wise.
just
The
gender swapped.
Zendaya MJ was
It's not really.
completely
It's not
different
Mary,
from
and it's not
MJ.
Mary Jane. It's
Yeah, yeah.
Michelle
Like I said,
something or other.
yeah,
Yeah.
they fixed it in the third movie to try to kill that noise, but it's still the same thing. That's pedantic
Um.
nonsense.
You
Right? She's supposed
you
to be
you you
MJ.
you
She didn't act like MJ.
you've all
That's where the
heard
issue
me.
becomes.
You've all heard me before. As
Like,
controversial as this might be, please forgive me.
dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Have never been a fan of the race swapping or gender swapping that's done in these movies when they are based off of these main characters or any character.
Fucking awkward.
There are I can accept and I understand the disparity between certain characters in comic books that were created 60 years ago, but when you start bringing in the whole inclusion thing into this, give me a Miles Morales first before you start race swapping other characters. Like he hasn't been done yet.
Use existing characters.
Use
Don't
existing,
change what
and when you're
someone else.
and when those are established and done, you know, if it needs to be done, then it needs to be done. Create more new ones. Maybe we're getting off topic here. Look, I like my source material for my characters to be at the essence of who they're supposed to be. You know, you wanna make Michael B. Jordan the next Superman? That's fine. You know what? Then give me Calvin Ellis.
Who? What?
That what's Val? Is it Valzad? Valzad?
He
Oh yeah,
wants
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
wants
Yeah,
the multiverse.
Oh,
yeah.
from
Like if
Of
you're
them.
going to do that, that's perfectly fine. Just then make him that. Don't make him Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. You follow that story. Don't.
Yeah, same thing like they did with Nick Fury. Nick Fury was done in the comics in both worlds. In the Ultimates,
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
was African American. So yeah, they bring that in. I had no problems. It worked. Jackson was great. I thought Sam was really good. I actually liked his. I actually liked the Nick Fury show too.
See, but that's the thing too, is that Nick Fury from the Ultimates is not the same as the Nick Fury Agent of Shield we grew up with. So his characterization matches that Nick Fury. Now, if they took Agent of Shield Nick Fury and just said, "Oh, by the way, it's Sam Jackson now," it would have weirded me out because his character in those movies is not the same as that character in those comics.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
Yep.
something that, like, where that's like more specifically the Ultimates version. A lot of the
Mhm.
stuff in the Avengers, well, the Marvel movies is kind
Very
of based out of the
Ultimates.
Ultimates.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's like a blend. It's a decent blend of look, you got like, 40, 50, 60, 80-year history with a lot of these characters ultimately. There's a lot to pick from, so you don't need it to be one era specifically. Like I think a blend is fine. Makes
Mhm.
enough sense.
I agree. Getting back to Spider-Man.
I think Derek's sleeping with his eyes open.
Oh, I'm not.
You all right?
Oh, okay.
Derek?
It took me a minute, Tyler, to understand what you were saying. I think you're talking about Queens, New
New
York.
York. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I was like,
'Cause that
what?
sentence was
I'm
not
sitting there
made.
like, what? What is he talking about?
Hashtag cancel Tyler, man.
Then it's like it makes. I was like, oh, okay, now I get it.
So that one, I remember people saying at the time, well, you need a big giant guy. Who else would you cast?
Plus, he did a good job.
Mhm.
He
You know,
fit the
yeah,
character
yeah.
of Kingpin.
He didn't do a
Yeah.
bad job.
That
He
movie
didn't
was
do a
trash.
bad
Don't
job.
blame that whole movie
Well,
on
that's the
him.
Ben Affleck he's talking about.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I haven't seen that.
I mean, it's hard to give him any credit for that because that entire movie was just so bad.
It's a mess.
That's all I think of is just bad. Daredevil,
That movie is why
Daredevil,
we need
just bad.
accuracy.
Yeah.
Yes,
I haven't even
yes.
seen
Or
that movie all the
some
way
better
through.
level of
Daredevil, the Ben Affleck one. I haven't
Yeah.
even seen that movie all the way through.
I bet you
So,
watched Electra, though, didn't you?
I have
No.
not. I didn't. Based off of the
She's
feedback
coming back.
from. Well, based off the feedback from Daredevil at the time when they came out with Electra, I was like, no, that's all right.
Yeah.
She's
If
supposed to be
if that
coming
was
back for
bad, this is
Yeah,
going
the.
to
you
be
made the
worse
right
because
call.
Electra wasn't one of those popular characters either. So you got to deal with you're dealing with that at the same time too. So there's not going to be any, I felt like at the time there wasn't going to be any real um meat in that movie to be looking for based off of them not knowing how to do a Daredevil movie in the first place. So
See, mine, again, the race swapping doesn't bother me as much. The gender swapping only bothers me if it's integral to the character's story. Like you have Reed Richards and Sue Storm, and if they just decide to make Sue Storm a dude in the next movie, it would make sense because they're married with a kid in the comics. So it would be a little harder for me to accept that. But if she's,
Well, that can happen in real life.
I just said it would be a little harder to explain than how they did it in the comics. But if she was like black or Hispanic or something, like, none of that would matter to me as long as her character traits, like how she acts and talks and interacts with everybody, stays the same. I don't care about.
Were
that
they
part
not
of it.
trying to cast a female thing in that movie? I've heard that. What's her face is being.
Mila Kunis is the rumor.
Yeah, I heard they were trying to do her as a female thing.
Look, if
what's
you
up with
gotta
that?
have a female Ben Grimm or whatever, okay, but not Mila Kunis.
I don't
Get someone that can act.
I won't even say okay. It's just it already like no, I'm good.
Mhm.
Mm.
I don't have a problem with diversity either. Here's what I have a problem with. I have a problem with them selecting actors or I guess they say actors now. We don't even call them actresses no more. Did y'all notice that?
No,
We
I
don't even call
do.
them actresses. But
Actor.
I have a problem with putting in actors for the sake of diversity. When it comes to certain movies, and it makes no sense to put them there in the first place.
Give a
You
frame of
know,
reference.
Just about all
Um,
of them for the most part. So that's my thing.
You're
Also,
talking the difference of casting someone just to have the person rather than a meaningful swap. Is that
no,
what
no,
I'm
no, no,
getting?
no. Casting that particular person where they could, if they were going to go for diversity and make sure that that person can fulfill and go can play that role and fulfill
Mhm.
that role. Is
Scarlett
what I'm saying.
Johansson, Ghost in the Shell.
Yes, it's not so much that she can act the
Mm,
part or not act the
that's a good
part.
example.
You know,
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
She looked good in that white suit,
that's actually a
though.
great example. Thanks for
She
that.
looked damn
Yeah.
good in that white suit, though.
Yeah,
twice without showering.
but
Oof.
you know who could have really played that? So,
Mm.
um, but yeah, that's the biggest problem I have with most of the TV shows and movies. They do that, and it's like okay, like and let's get back on Mary Jane for example, Spider Man. I didn't I like Zendaya as a female in general. I
Hmm.
think Zendaya is dope. She's been in a lot of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But playing
Was
MJ
that
and the way they
Euphoria?
had her in that movie, it just made no sense whatsoever.
Hmm.
To me, because growing up reading Spider Man, MJ was the hot chick in the story. She was the hot chick that was unattainable for a Peter Parker. You know, you had a Flash Thompson. Who the fuck told?
Toxic masculinity alert.
Well, I
Man,
absolutely
are
okay.
you mansplaining comics to us, sir? Are you
I'm
mansplaining?
so, and then the whole Flash Thompson thing for the Tom Holland Spider Man. I'm like, yeah, that was just that was a useless character. That was a useless actor choice
Agreed,
for
Scott.
that
Well,
particular role.
but it was a strange thing because like you have like race swap there, but they completely changed the core idea of the character. He wasn't a
Mhm.
jock.
Right,
He was a bookworm bully, which is dumb.
Hmm.
right. And he wasn't even a was he a bookworm bully?
No, he was more.
Yeah,
He was
Yeah.
trying to be like a viral video star.
Well,
Hmm.
no,
he was a
No,
bit of a he was a
they
bit of a
gave
bully. He
they
was a bit
put
of a
too much
bully.
on his plate, but
He
he
was
was
like a
definitely
rich
I was like,
kid.
yo,
but he was on like
why is
their
this
smart kids
why is this
team
dude
for their
here?
Yeah,
competition.
he was on the traveling team, and
Yeah,
the only
Right.
other thing I remember seeing that kid in was in Project X.
he's been in
Yeah.
a ton of stuff.
Yeah, he's been in a few
Yeah,
things, but it was like Tom. If and correct me if I'm wrong, Tom Holland as Peter Parker, his he's bigger. He was bigger than him too, wasn't he?
he's a pretty small guy.
No,
Tom
but I know
Holland's pretty
Tom
big.
Holland's a small guy, but that
Oh, you
other
mean bigger
dude
than
that played Flash, he
bigger than
was
Flash?
smaller.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Hey, I mean, he
He
seems
was.
smaller to me, and I was just like,
He's not a big guy.
how is
Yeah.
he bullying? I don't understand the dynamic of that,
Yeah,
but you know,
The
it was
Spider-Man
that dude
movies.
was just the wrong choice to play.
Yep.
For me, it was the wrong choice to play Flash Thompson. You know,
Look, Too Hard and Furious pulled it up too. Like in that crappy Fantastic Four movie, Sue and John are blood brothers, but in that one they made them half
yeah,
brothers
they
because
made
they
him
wanted Michael B. Jordan to be in the movie.
right.
They were
They made
forced
him
it to
stepbrother
happen.
and stepsister.
Yeah, they completely
Mhm.
It was
changed
a
the story
stepbrother
to make
stepsister
that
thing.
happen.
I was just like, that movie failed. That movie
That
just
movie was a
failed.
failure from the beginning. It don't matter who was casting it.
Mhm.
Again, that's another one of those movies that was just so bad. It just
It was doomed
Yeah,
to flop.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
remember.
saying what I'm saying is what he was talking about earlier about how they
yeah.
force the actor in regardless of anything else just to say
Yeah.
they have diversity in their movie. That is
Right.
a perfect example of it because
Yeah,
he's a phenomenal actor. Love his acting.
Mhm.
And I even liked him
Oh yeah,
as
Michael B. Oh yeah,
I even liked him as Johnny in the movie. Like if you hadn't made it a Fantastic Four movie, but he was just playing a character like that, he acted great in the movie. The movie was trash.
Yeah, the
But
movie
the
was
change
straight
of the
trash.
brother and sister to
The premise
to
of the
have
movie in general was
Yeah.
it was just horrible. It was like I remember when that DVD first dropped, the Blu-ray had first dropped, and it got into Best Buy. A week later, it was on sale.
I was gonna say it was in the $5
And it
bin at
was just like-
Walmart in like a month.
Right, and it was just like I took a picture of it and posted it one day, and I was just like, fantastic, latest Fantastic Four movie, this price, you still paying too much for it. And it
I
was
bought it
like-
out the
I think it
$5
was
bin,
like
I ain't gonna
14.
lie.
I think it was like $14.99 at the time. I was like, yeah, you're
bought it-
paying. I said basically you paying $13 too much for this.
It's worth the $1 rental from Redbox.
I wanted to comment here on what Nick had there. I think that Spider-Man in Infinity War and Endgame and Civil War, I like him better in those than his own movies because he feels like Spider-Man there, and you don't
Yeah.
have all the problems that are we're discussing. Like that is the character being who he is at the core of what he's supposed to be and all that, and not bogged down with all this bullshit. So,
Yeah, I was gonna
you get
say,
a real
Gort.
standout performance there like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Gort. Like that, the whole Spider-Man movies, all three of them, they just didn't. You want to talk about not sticking close to the source material? Yeah, there were some things like they still had Aunt May and Uncle Ben and all that.
Yeah.
But they involved Iron Man. Iron Man wasn't in the original story, and he was a
No.
big part of that with his Iron Spider suit. He didn't have that. He wasn't the photographer. He didn't work at the Daily Bugle. Is that what it is in over there?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I think a lot. I know a few people who that bothered. They didn't.
I mean, it's an interesting
they
concept
involving
to give
Iron
him a
Man.
mentor. I don't.
No,
I don't dislike the Spider-Man movies or think poor of them. I don't agree with all the changes is all, but that one, yeah, because I would understand someone not liking that. But
I mean,
one of-
I
do
thought
keep
it
in mind,
was
real quick, Wolf, that this Spider-Man is in high school, so he can't be working for the Daily Bugle yet and stuff. So, this is high school
Yeah.
level Spider-Man. If they do continue with him going forward, I have a feeling you're gonna see a real MJ coming now, and he's on his own. That all
Yeah.
like they basically erased his entire past so they can build forward. He's supposed to got more movies coming.
I'm sure they'll give it right
Um,
back. It's kind of like undoing the snap. You just do it right away. It's not a big
now,
deal.
now, one
And
thing. A couple
last
of
thing I
y'all,
want to say, supposedly Jennifer Garner is supposed to be coming back for the new Deadpool movie.
her and
Deadpool.
Ben Affleck are supposed to show up.
I didn't hear about Ben, but I did hear about
Somebody
her.
said it in
so.
the comments. They were talking about it in the
Yeah.
comments.
Esteban, I like your comment about the Flash Thompson thing. Felt like a weird Harry
What
Osborn.
It does.
I totally agree with that one.
Yeah.
That's the role he should have played.
We're
Yeah,
absent
I
of
get that.
that
Harry.
family so far.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the one thing that I do have issue with on some of these things is we've touched on it before and we've talked about it in private conversations and hangouts and stuff, is the preconceived notions and baggage that we bring into stuff. Like when you tell me it's Civil War, my brain immediately pictures the Civil War comic run.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it takes a movie of an extremely high caliber, which luckily enough, that Civil War movie checked that box to make me okay with the fact that they're calling the Civil War and it's not really Civil War.
Right.
It's not really that comic.
Misuse of a buzzword.
Yes, it's same thing. And again, I'm going to bring it up because it's Eric's favorite thing in the entire world. The She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. You titled it Attorney at Law. I'm thinking of the Attorney at Law comics. Those two things don't match each other. And then on top of it, it was dog shit. It doesn't work for me.
Why do you say it's my favorite thing in the world? I think that show was absolutely atrocious.
I think
Because
that's
I
the
wanted to fuck
idea.
with you.
Yeah,
I literally
Sarcasm.
smiled when I
Okay.
Yeah, it's your favorite thing in the world.
He
just
winked
like
at you when he said it.
Is my favorite new series.
Yeah, just like Star Wars, Dave Filoni's his favorite person in the world. So, but that they do that a lot with a lot of these comics and stuff, is they try to draw us in, like we're nerds that grew up on these comics. They try to draw us in with those buzz phrases and buzzwords, like you just said. It's Civil War. Oh shit, we're gonna see Civil War in the movies.
Yeah.
But then they have to water it way down and kind of make it acceptable to the masses to get all the normies and the hipster fake nerds that just kind of joined up because it's cool to be a nerd now. So they have to make it acceptable to them, but then we have to kind of like it too. And in my book, they've failed more times than they've made it. Like one of the big ones to me is Thor. The characterization of Thor when he first came out in the Avengers and in his first couple movies, that is very comic accurate to me. The movies weren't great. To me, they aren't great movies. They're okay movies. They're not trash. They're okay movies. But they're closer to Thor that I know. Then 3 came out. And all of a sudden, Thor thinks he's Deadpool. And all of a sudden, that is not Thor that I know at all anymore. Right. And it doesn't matter to me whether the movies were fun, whether I laughed at the jokes. Those aren't Thor movies to me because that's not Thor in those movies.
Right,
Thor's been I'm sorry, Wolfgang.
No, I'm saying I agree with Ricky there. That was such a
somebody mark that down.
Such a jump. Like it was just like they're here and all of a sudden it's just completely different characterization, and it's just it doesn't fit. Like it really doesn't fit.
I blame Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, I
It's
blame
definitely a big
MCU in general
influence.
because when they make these MCU movies, they're always trying to cram the original storylines into one movie. Like you'll see three different storylines in one movie. And I'll go back to Thor for an example. Thor Ragnarok. It was the Ragnarok story. It was also the Planet Hulk story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was also
Contest of Champions.
Contest of
Yep.
Champions, and they were trying to cram all three of those arcs into one movie, and it didn't work. So
So
and from that premise on, that's how all the movies have been. Actually, it started with Civil War because Civil War it was the because you were trying to introduce Black Panther into that so you can launch the other movie. You had the Civil War story. You also had the Captain America story where they were talking about how he had to rescue Bucky Barnes from the government.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned into that whole thing because we know exactly how Civil War started from the comics.
yeah.
I wish they had I wish they had did something like that where Maria Hill all of a sudden went rogue and they made the whole registration act a thing, and we would have got that movie. It didn't have to be exact. Like, I know we've been talking about how, we don't want it doesn't have to be the exact thing from the source material, but it would have been nice if that whole registration thing would have been still a Maria Hill thing
I
and it
I get what you're saying.
advanced into
Yeah.
something else
I mean,
because that having Tony was part of it, but he wasn't the catalyst. He wasn't the catalyst of it. And they tried to make it the general him for the catalyst of that, and I'm just like that's gonna ruin the and I said this when it happened, that's gonna ruin the Thunderbolts movie if they decide to do one.
so I mean, just real quick. One thing about Marvel though, and it's why I don't hold it against them too much with things like Civil War and stuff like that. At the time, like when they made Civil War, they didn't have access or the rights to use a
X-Men.
lot of the main characters
Mm-hmm.
that made up that storyline. So they took the buzzword and they made it their own. Same thing with Ragnarok. They actually still are not allowed to make a standalone. At least at the time, they couldn't make a standalone Hulk movie.
Yeah.
Because of
Which is
Universal
why-
Studio. Yeah, Universal.
Which is why we never got the Planet Hulk, World War Hulk. I don't. Maybe you shouldn't have tried to throw it in and mix it in with Ragnarok, but like they get a little bit of a pass for me because I know that they have certain rights issues because they made that mistake. Unlike DC, who wants to throw 5 different storylines in one movie and ruin
Fucked them all.
You
They
know,
fucked
you
all
ruin
5 of them.
Doomsday. Like it's just like
He
that
was a
Doomsday
Ninja
was
Turtle.
a
Ugh.
It looked
that
like a big
Doomsday
goblin.
was a absolute fucking travesty. It looked like, I
Yeah,
still
it
say it
was.
looks like they just recycled the cave troll from Lord of the Rings. Like that's all it fucking looked like. Like
Well,
That's
that's
what
why
it-
the fight
know.
happened at night because he turned to stone.
Yeah,
that's
it
what
just
that's
made
why
no
I said
sense.
that it looks like the cave troll had sex with the Snyderverse turtle, and then that's what you had is that thing there. It was
Hey,
pretty
can
bad.
someone highlight the last thing that Wes said?
Yeah. Well, Wes.
Wes.
Nobody wants
Yeah.
to highlight what Wes said. We're gonna listen
Well, no,
to-
he said something good. I
Wes
want to
Wes
comment on it.
highlights his own stuff.
That's Esteban.
That's Esteban.
No, I like this one. I don't pay attention to Wes.
Okay. Yeah, and he's right. He's right. I remember that. I was like,
Now,
why the
where's
fuck
Wes?
are y'all
Where's
listening
Wes's
to
last comment?
what?
I'm
It's
glad
up a
I'm
little-
not in the
He's an
comments.
little
actor.
bit.
Unless he's the executive producer of that movie, fuck what his thoughts are.
This one?
Get your
Yeah.
ass in there.
Yeah,
and
that
do
one.
your
Highlight
job.
that for a minute.
Do what you got paid to do and act, or we find somebody else. I'm glad I'm not in the comics, so I'm not. I'm not. As
I literally
disappointed
touched
as
on
y'all.
See,
that. The
no, yes,
preconceived notion and the baggage.
Yeah, that's
that
what I'm
he
saying. I'm just saying, like, from my point of view, what Wes just said. Like, I wasn't a huge Marvel guy. I know the characters, I know the stories, how they're supposed to go, but like I wasn't like super into it, like super hardcore. So like Derek, you said Civil War, you wanted it to be this way. For me, a guy like me, that didn't bother me. Like I thought it was fine. Like Didn't do it
Only because
exactly,
they
but
did
I
a
got
good
the
job.
gist of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, again, mischaracterization aside from Ragnarok, Ragnarok didn't bother me, other than him being a fucking idiot. But
I didn't
Other
feel
than the
he
main
was,
character fucking sucking, the movie was great.
I didn't feel he was like a big idiot in that one. Not
It got
like in Love and
worse.
Thunder. That
he
was
was on his way. He was definitely on his way to being
that
it, though.
Gort, that movie for me was just the catalyst of a lot of the stupid shit that's going on. Like, I have real mixed feelings about that. Like, yeah, he wasn't super bad, but it led to a lot of the shit we're
Yeah.
seeing now.
I think it
It's
started
garbage.
with Guardians of the Galaxy.
The first
That was
Guardian,
like that was the first movie they did that had a lot of humor, so to speak.
see, I
And
don't think it was that bad though.
No, it wasn't. It was good. That one was good. And then they were like, "Oh, let's just keep getting
But that's the
funnier
fulcrum.
and
That's-
funnier and
Yes.
funnier."
Yes.
Meanwhile, if you go back to that very first run up until Infinity War, those movies they didn't have a lot of
It wasn't
humor in
like
them.
comic
Just maybe the Thor
kooky
ones,
stuff.
That's
but it
the
wasn't.
fulcrum point.
It wasn't every 2 seconds another stupid fucking joke was coming out your fucking mouth.
The other,
That's all this is now. Like it's a bad fucking comedy.
That's what the Marvels is going to be. It's what I heard.
But
Yeah,
you know
it's definitely going to be, and it's a shame because you had the formula right, and then for some fucking reason you let some fucking asshole steer you away from all that shit, and now you got nonsense like this.
because Disney sees numbers. They don't see the quality and all that, whether that people like or dislike
Oh,
the stuff.
sure.
What they
But
saw
that
was
does-
Guardians. They saw Guardians made a fuck ton of money.
You're right, but they saw
Guardians was
Infinity
funny.
War,
A lot of other
And-
ones made it too,
That was
though.
after.
And-
That was after.
but a lot of them, even Guardians wasn't the number one selling
But
one
this
at
was
that
this
point.
was out of nowhere, a comic that nobody
Yeah.
knew or nobody liked, and they were
Yeah.
able to make this much money. And the only difference between this movie and those movies was the yuck yucks. So if you liked it in a comic that you've never even heard of on a team you've never fucking heard of, then you're gonna fucking love it when the Avengers fucking do it. And if you're gonna fucking love when the Avengers do it, you're gonna fucking love it when Thor does it. You're gonna fucking love it when they all do it. That's how Disney does stuff. Oh, you like that? Well, here's 20 times of that because you liked it that one time. They
and
do
the
it to
Guardians is an interesting one too, because you're saying like it might be the start of a lot of things. It's a relatively bigger departure from the source material than any of the stuff that came before it. So you could
but
say
it was an
it really
unknown
started
source
there.
material.
Yeah, like I didn't know much about the Guardians of the Galaxy, so
And I didn't read the title previously, like the character showing up, in other people's pages, yes,
Mhm.
but
yeah,
the title itself, I didn't read any of it, so I am able to go and enjoy that in a different way.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Like, if you don't know source material, you could go enjoy something a lot different than the people
Yep.
that are already fans of it. They're the ones that are going to get upset, and that's
s-
we always bounce around with the Star Wars stuff, but I get upset at that stuff. The people that like it, all the newer stuff right now, the Disney crap. Well, you're not into the source material, and if you are into the source material, you might be an idiot.
Dude, and
Wow.
into the source material is an understatement coming out of
Strong
Gort's mouth.
words.
Everybody that thinks they know how much Gort likes Star Wars, y'all don't know shit. This
Yeah.
guy was blowing my mind in a conversation last night, telling me this character's shoe size, who was a background
couple-
character in the
A
third
couple
screen.
privileged
It was
people
nuts.
seen the diagram, Ricky.
It was wild, dude. Gort's knowledge of Star Wars.
Let me just pull it up real quick.
I want. Can we? There was one comment that I said was too hard and fierce that said,
Burgess, I gotta put you out.
Oh,
The fact
don't
that
do
you're
that.
saying, the fact you're saying you're loving the Ahsoka right now, I can't talk to you, bro.
No,
This
we love-
right
we
here.
love Eric.
I thought we were here, but obviously we are not. I'm sorry, bro.
We were talking about the general timeline of stuff that's going on with the Disney stuff.
What is this?
I'm not going to explain any of this,
Did you make
but
this?
Yes, it was amazing.
Trust me, it made sense, and I was drawing it as we were talking last night. It was fun, but
It was awesome. I was like,
Yeah.
just take a screenshot of that and put it out there and see who figures it
anybody
out.
that wants to know, screenshot that. You figure it out later.
32.
No, it's 42 is the correct answer,
You know,
sir.
and
Not a
to
clue.
go to
I
go
don't-
back
I don't know
to
what
that
that was.
comment, Ricky's. I think it was Ricky who said about bringing in the non-fans who don't know the source material,
Mhm, mhm.
but they're gonna come anyway. Like I think that's the mistake that these things are making. These kids, these families, they're coming anyway. Whether they know the source material or not, right? So you already have that money, right? But when you're pissing off the actual fans who've been following all this time. They're the ones who are leaving. So now you're losing them. You
But
still,
we're the small we're the small
it don't
minority of
matter. But
people.
that small minority is the difference between a movie making maybe 700,000 or breaking a billion.
Well, it actually
You
it's
know, like
inverse.
that's.
So
But
with the normies, they make $1 million. With us, they make 500,000.
but
So if they
that's
remove
but
us, they're still making 1 million. If they remove them, they're
but
only
you're
making
losing.
500,000.
But you're not understanding my point. You're losing money. You're the normies, as I hate to use that word because it just
Mhm.
sounds bad,
Oh no, I'm
but
judging the fuck out of them, you bunch
I'm
of
not.
normie motherfuckers.
The people who don't know the sources, who don't really follow this, they're coming to these movies anyway, right? So that money is there. Like you got that. Now let's not piss off the comic book fans and the actual fans of the material for all these years to keep them coming. It's just more money coming in. It's a market that they're pushing us out of because they've made these mistakes and they've been doing them for so long now.
Hmm.
That's a good point.
So it's so Esteban,
Dante, the answer is no. Esteban,
so
no.
so I like Sabine, and I like the plot points wrapped around Harris' ass. Other than that, I'm out on that show. Like it's not great, man. It's they've they've gone too far afield and they've changed too much. Um, I love you too, Jason. Um, I'm gonna let take this one because he nailed it perfectly with the Ahsoka and how that's hashtag not our Ahsoka. Like it's not go like explain what you were talking about Ahsoka and the changes and stuff like that to her characterizations. This is
I,
why.
I, I I'll try to make it very simple. You spent 15 years building Ahsoka up and culminated with basically, I am not a Jedi.
Mhm,
I am not a Jedi. Ahsoka was the best version we got of her.
mhm.
And from the, I mean, I enjoyed her through Clone Wars. You know, she was annoying in the beginning, like a lot of people felt. That character had a lot of growth, a lot of development through all those seasons, to the point where then she walked away from the Jedi Order, and I thought she just became an amazing character after that. And you did a complete rapid flip to Jedi Kool Aid Master is what she is now. This whole I don't want to give spoilers yet because I know not everybody saw it this week. So, but like her attitude, her demeanor, everything about her is everything that the Jedi was that she walked away from. You became what you walked away from, and that is my problem with the Ahsoka show. I think Balon has actually been pretty good. I like his character. I think the actor's been done a great job. Um, I was happy to see the ending of this particular episode. It has me a little bit looking forward to next week, but as an overall, I'm not a fan of the show.
And
Nick?
the reason that they have undone all the characterization of how they built her up all the way through Rebels
Hold on one
and made
second.
her
Hold on one
much,
second.
yeah.
Esteban, walk away from the speaker for a minute.
No, he's fine.
Protect
He can
Esteban.
handle
Protect
it.
Esteban.
But the
The
God damn
reason
it, Ricky.
the reason she's different.
The reason that they made the changes to her is they have to make her be like what people already think a Jedi is, because she has lightsabers. She's a Jedi. She's not allowed to be something else. You got red lightsabers, you're a bad guy. You know, you're a Sith or a Dark Jedi. It's hard to get into the realm of what realm what
Rome.
other things
Realm?
are, because people don't like it when it's
Realm.
not black and white.
Well, it's more than just her leaving as a Padawan. It's just the demeanor, the personality, her mindset now is just everything that
Fuck
she
it.
walked away from. Um,
Yeah.
Ashley
Change
Eckstein
my
is
name.
she
Ahsoka
can't,
Tano. That's it.
and she can't fight.
I just noticed that.
She can't fight. She holding her lightsabers wrong. Like I could get it. I don't want to get into that level of Star Wars
Well,
nitpicking,
Dude,
but
I'm gonna just say it because Eric B set up in there how great the fight choreography has been and how I don't know what
no,
show he's watching,
I
but
don't think there is a choreographer working for that show.
Ahsoka is high speed, high action, dual blades. like fighting at all times. She's literally a sword and dagger fighter. And I brought this up to them last night, and we can talk about it here, or the other night when we were all talking. Is the fight between her and Ray Stevens at the end of that last episode? At one point in time, because he holds his like a halberd, like a double handled fucking broadsword.
Broadsword, yeah.
And when he goes up like this, and he puts it behind his back like he's gonna chop down, she stands there and waits as he goes through this full now right here, my face, body, chest, stomach, everything is wide open. She just stands there with her one lightsaber, just waiting for that fucking blow to come. I'm like, in real life, she would have been on him, like attacking him, doing something. And she just kind of stood there and waited for it to happen, and then almost wasn't able to take the blow, even though she prepared herself for 5 minutes.
Like a disruption to the source material in right that fight there that you're talking about and the one preceding it. Her fighting style is very particular. The way she holds her sabers, the way she moves, they don't do any of that. I think it's too complicated for Rosario.
Or whatever stunt doubles they're hiring the wrong stunt doubles.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, and that's another thing that if you want to get into, she stood toe to toe to Grievous.
It would be like if Spider-Man is shooting his webs and he's not. You know what I mean?
She
just like
she went toe to toe with Obi-Wan and Anakin at 2 against 1. She went toe to toe to Vader. She beat fucking Maul, and she loses to who the fuck is Balon?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, it's just like
we know nothing about him. He's got a beard.
Got a beard.
Yeah,
he's the Punisher.
Ever since Shang-Chi came out, everybody got spoiled when it comes to fight choreography.
Star Wars.
Brink, it's very obvious when they.
I mean, hold on. They used live motion capture to film that last fight with her and Maul. Who is who they should have put.
You're breaking up, dude. Yeah. You're getting too loud for you.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I don't know. Whoever they used to do the fight for her and Maul in Clone Wars at the end should have bring that person in for the fight double for the stunt double.
Okay.
Yeah. They need to hire the fight choreographer for Shang-Chi. That's bottom line. And they need to put Rosario in the gym, but to be
get rid of the MC Hammer pants.
To be be fair though,
you can't touch that, sir.
You don't with a Rosario Dawson, you're not gonna expect her to have these glorified fight scenes because of her. Although you would think with her build and everything, you would expect her to pull out more fight choreography and all that. But if she's not skilled, what can you do?
Don't do it then.
I can go be in a movie and they can have my fat ass.
Then if you can't
buildings because they'll use a stunt double.
If you can't do it right, don't do it at all. That's how I feel. You should have kept it fucking animated. I've been saying this since they first announced Ahsoka coming to live action. It was a mistake. She should have stayed in the animated verse that Star Wars was doing. All of them should have. And this is why. Because if you would have done this animated, I think this would have been so much better of what we got.
True. Somebody's getting a giant Balin poster for Christmas.
Somebody's getting 2.
Yeah, Ray Stevenson has been probably the best thing about the show so far. I think just his presence, the way he carries himself, just something about the man on screen. He's just,
really. Yeah. I like the fart monster Sith guy. He was my favorite.
No. Oh god. Anyway,
the not Ezra guy.
So are we? Has everybody got their Ahsoka hate out?
I don't hate it. I just wish it could be better. I wish it could be better.
I'd rather get back on real topic.
Yeah.
Right. So
I mean, technically, it's talking about how it's not close to the source material, so it's not wrong.
It's so there's a difference. Like adapting something from a comic book, that's all about source material. Star Wars is about consistency. There is no consistency. So it's not that it's not the same as the source material. It's just heavily inconsistent. Like I see Eric B in there talking about her with the katana shaped to her hilts. They're not curved fucking lightsabers either, but it is a valid point, but at the same time, she's not fighting like she's supposed to be. Like everything is just a inconsistent departure. It's always change. Like Sabine, for example, we're seeing her get taught to be, using the Force in the last episode. Not use the Force, sorry. Getting trained on the ship by Ahsoka. Look, she's getting the helmet on. You want to do the cute thing and make the episode 4 Obi-Wan commentary like, oh, how am I supposed to fight? I can't see. Bitch, you fought next to a blind Jedi that had no difficulty. You already know how the Force works and that it's totally fine. This is also the first thing that they teach children. It's the first thing that they teach Luke. You know, like, get the mask on and fight. So it's like, it's stupid. In Rebels, she was already taught how to fight with the dark saber. She was taught by Kanan, the blind Jedi I'm talking about. I mean, they've done all
Blind
this
Jedi.
already. They're retreading it. You're unraveling a character so you can build her back up again in a new series because nobody watched the cartoon. You know, it's a huge discredit to the people that are actual fans of this stuff. But it's really, it goes back to what I'm saying. It's a consistency problem. You know, it's not that you're not true to the source material. You just don't care and move forward. And it doesn't work. You know, if it's lame.
Any of y'all watch
Week to week.
CW shows? So the
CW.
latest CW show is Superman and Lois.
Mm-hmm.
We were
I've
talking
been hearing
about.
good things about it.
Oh yeah, I mean the last season was absolutely
Superman and
incredible.
Lois.
Yeah, Superman and Lois. So they ended it off with Superman fighting Doomsday, and Doomsday in this series is a mutated Bizarro. So that's how they pulled off that and created Doomsday, and then they introduced Lex Luthor into the end of this season as well. In regards to source material, I mean, with the CW shows in general, you know, it's been a good hit and miss. That's been a good hit and miss universe when it comes to their movies compared to their the actual DC movies. Um, I like that Superman and Lois series because they're taking their time and actually doing doing the show and just really doing all the um research stuff. They introduced Bruno Mannheim in this one as well. That was actually a good series as well. But yeah, man, if y'all haven't watched it yet, it's on what is it on?
CW and Hulu.
Well, no, it's on CW,
It's
of
on
course,
Max too.
but you can catch up on Max. Yeah, if you can
Mhm.
catch up on Max on that Max app if you want to see it. So,
So let me ask you, Derek, because you've watched it. Is it closer to Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, like the '90s version? Like, is it just like a remake of that, or is it a
mm-mm.
whole other thing?
No, so it's basically continued because they actually started they actually Superman and Lois actually started in Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's the same
So
actor, right? Yeah.
right, same actor,
Tyler, or
same
whatever his name
actors,
is.
yeah, right. And then but in this one they have two sons. Now originally it was supposed to be just one son. It was supposed to be Jonathan, but they added another son and they made them twins. So one of them it starts the first season starts out is which one of these twins is going to inherit Superman's powers, and then from that point on it just builds. So the show is actually pretty dope if you get into it. You'll find yourself continuing to watch it to find out what's going to go on next. They also have Steel in this mug, but it was an interesting introduction for him as well because he's this Steel this John Henry is from an alternate Earth where he was married to Lois Lane. It's mind blowing. You got to check it out if you haven't even watched it yet. But yeah, I think a lot of you will enjoy that series. Um, but yeah, if you're looking at the source, if you're looking at comparing that one and to the source material, you're not gonna be too much bothered by it because of the way CW shows work anyway. If you're already familiar with it, so I encourage everybody to go ahead and get into that one.
And I
I
kind
don't
of
know if all
felt.
of them are Jason, but I know
I'm
Superman and
looking
Lois
right now.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know the Superman and Lois definitely is, but
Yeah, I don't think
yeah.
they're all on there.
And Flash is on. I know Flash is on Netflix.
Hulu. A lot of them are
Supergirl
on
is on.
Hulu and Netflix.
Yeah, Supergirl's on Netflix. Arrow, which is my favorite one, is on Netflix as well.
Arrow was good.
And
Flash was
Black
my.
Lightning. The
Flash
rest of
was
them,
my.
okay. So the rest of them are on Netflix.
Yeah, Flash was my favorite up for a while. up
Yeah.
until right about the Crisis crossover, and then it just started losing me there,
It
and I never
started
went
losing
back.
me after Crisis.
Yeah, and
The
then I never
Crisis
went back.
2. They did two different Crisis
My
ones.
my son watched it till religiously till the day it ended,
Hmm.
till they put the last episode on. So
Yeah, I still got to finish watching season 9 because
I did
I got.
watch the very, very last episode. Just like I
Did
missed the
you?
2, 3 seasons before it, but let me just watch the very last episode to see how they
I
ended
liked
it.
Arrow like all the way up until like the Black Canary stuff and all that came in. Was that like season 4, season 5? Like I was really big into it up until then.
Yeah, Arrow start. They all start to just get a little too much towards the end.
It was like the Atom and the Mister Terrific and all them were coming in, and I was like,
Hmm. Now, I think Arrow was probably the best series they had. It's just the way they dragged out a lot of the stuff,
Too
and
much.
it was like, yo, okay, so y'all are basically bored and just trying to keep the show alive,
Yeah,
and
that's what happens to a lot of shows though.
yeah,
When it just goes too long, you're just fighting to keep it going.
Yeah.
like
because they did
I
the
love
same
the
thing with
Deathstroke story
Wayne.
in the first couple of
Yeah,
seasons.
Remember Wayne that was on Fox, um, the the um, the
Gotham,
Batman joint. I mean,
Gotham.
God, yeah, Wayne, Gotham. No, I'm thinking
Mhm.
about the. I'm thinking
Gotham was a
about
good
the.
show. I enjoyed
Yeah,
Gotham.
Gotham was great until like the last two seasons. I was just like, and then they actually just canceled that mug. They didn't actually finish it.
No, they
Yeah, they
wrapped it
did.
up. They had
They
a
Did
wrapped
they
up
finish
Gotham.
it?
they had a
Yeah,
series finale. Yeah,
No, I
Batman
mean,
suit.
it
yeah.
left on a cliffhanger though, right?
No. They said
No, not
I'm
really.
gonna
No,
become Batman when I grow up, like that much of a cliffhanger because they don't show him growing from a kid to being Batman, but
but they show
they,
you in the
they
Batman. They
showed
show
him.
him in the suit.
But we had
I
like a
didn't.
prototype of the
I
suit.
haven't
Yeah.
completed it yet. Then, so they basically did that one
Spoiler
just like they
alert.
did Smallville because
Yeah.
they didn't put him. They didn't put him in the suit. They kind of did, but they didn't really show him in the
No,
suit. They
I don't
did the
think they were
exact same
illegally.
thing.
I don't think they were allowed to. Was what I read. They didn't. They weren't allowed to put him in the suit. Same reason why they weren't allowed to put the Joker, the real Joker, in Gotham. For however these licenses are working, sometimes they get pigeonholed into not being able to use things the right way.
Yep.
Unfortunate, and it's unfortunate when you do that for these characters, because that Cameron Monaghan,
It was
his
great.
fake
Yeah.
Joker
Hmm.
was fucking great.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
did such a good job on his not Joker.
yeah.
I just finished today that on HBO Max they have that Pennyworth, the origin
I
stories
haven't
of
watched it.
Yo, how was
Batman's
that?
butler. Okay, it's nothing of what you think. It's like a completely different alternate timeline.
Yeah,
And it ties in. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil a little. It
go ahead. Go
ties
ahead.
in the Batman universe to to Vendetta. Like they become almost the same universe towards the end of that show.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, wow.
and the thing is, to save you a lot of heartache, each season ends with a cliffhanger to the next season.
Mhm.
And then they jump a little bit of time and you pick back up again. Season 3 is the final season. That's one of the shows that got chopped when they did the complete DC reverse
So it doesn't
reset.
get to finish.
It'll never pick up again. You'll never see the end of it unless they decide to redo it again later or some shit. And that
Wow.
made me mad. I didn't know that because season 3 was just this year. So I finished it today. I finished the last season or the last episode, and I was like, cool, let me look up when season 4 is coming out. They're like, nope, it was canned.
Well,
When they
you know,
decided to do
maybe Netflix will take it like Young Justice, do a season and cancel it again.
Yeah, but it was enjoyable. Like it's really weird, like some of the shit they get into, but you have to completely remember it's not main DC continuity. Like
Mm.
Thomas and Martha are in it, but there's no Bruce Wayne. They have a kid, but it's not Bruce. So I mean, it's like it's really weird. Like it's an offset of the continuities, but it's pretty cool.
Gotcha.
It was fun. It was enjoyable. Like if you just want to watch it, just watch it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, yeah,
You
because I got it on my
definitely
I
are,
got it on
man.
my watch list, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna catch that.
Yeah, Too Hard and Fierce. Yeah, it's on Max. All 3 seasons are on there.
All right, check it out. I guess we're getting close to 11 o'clock here, so I guess we'll start the wrapping up here.
All right.
Go around the yard, tell everyone where you're at, shout out whatever the fuck you want to do.
Derek,
Gort.
you go first before I end it on you again.
Man,
Go ahead, Derek.
I'm kind of scared because he did this twice already.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Let me see your hands.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's see EE's hands because he'll do
Yeah,
it.
let me see E hands too. Look, he had one hand down like this. Yo. All right, you can find your boy. Okay, you can find your boy Derek B on your Book of Fates.
Win.
I'm mad y'all changed my name.
Don't say y'all. I can't do that shit.
You were
You can
talking
find
about
your boy.
stuff we'd already talked
You can
about.
find
earlier.
your. Okay, for real. You can find your boy Derek Bigsby on your Book of Faces. You can also find me on Instagram as Derek B. I can't win for losing. I can't win. I just can't win. On
No,
this
you
show.
can't.
This ain't no
Yeah.
raffle. You can't win around here.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Look, all right, get Derek. Finish off. Finish
All
off.
right. That's it. Yeah,
No,
y'all
you're
can
on-
find
you're
me.
on Book of
Okay.
Faces. Go.
You can find us. Y'all know what shows we on. Catch us when we on. So,
Facebook, Derek, big,
yeah.
giggity.
Big Daddy
Okay. We can start over.
Right out the
Okay.
box. Yes, come on,
Yeah.
let's go.
You
Let's
can find
go.
your boy Derek B as Derek Bigsby on your Book of Faces. You can also find me on Instagram as Derek What B. You can also find me here every other Friday on the Realmhattan Project, and you can see us on our pop-up shows, whether it be Do You Even Transform, Bro, or on Right Out the Box.
All right, neat. EE, where can we find you?
You can find me here every other Friday, ruining the show. You can find me on Facebook, Eric Espada, and you can find me on Instagram, EE202020. Stay tuned. There will be a unbroadcasted hangout after this, and if you want to hear me rant about Marvel and HasLab and Marvel collectors, yeah, Marvel Legends collectors, yeah, just join us. I'll put the link out in the group.
Yeah, we're gonna be having full discussions about that HasLab.
Neat. Ricky.
You can find me in the realm. You can find me here every other Friday with these guys, laughing and loving it. I do from time to time the Now You Made It Awkward podcast. And that's pretty much it, man. Soon I'll be on the baseball diamond. Y'all won't see me very often at that point. So I'm kind of mad that Eric. Yeah, I'm ignoring him. Yes,
I saw that.
fact.
I caught that.
That's a
I caught
fact.
that.
You kind of ruined my little thing because I was gonna do at the very end. I was gonna ask you what your name meant and how you felt about that new HasLab and let you start ranting before Gort pulled the trigger.
Oh, that's not the HasLab name. That's gonna be the
ramen
name that
version.
ramen's gonna make. That's the ramen version name when this HasLab, if this HasLab fails.
I was gonna push you into your rant right before Gort pulled the trigger, but you beat me to it. So that's it. You guys can find me around, man. If you know me, you can find me. If you don't, I probably don't want to talk to you. So, anyways, Gort.
Yeah, you find me here Fridays at 9:00 when we do shows.
Ish.
Yeah.
I was on time today.
Good one, Wes.
Wolfie.
Shout out Wolf Nation. You can find me on YouTube giving tutorial on how to hang truck nuts from your Thunder Tank. You can find me, Eric Von Wolfenstein, on all your social media needs. Fridays.
Your nuts on a Thunder Tank?
Shut up.
Yeah.
Fridays, every other Friday here. And I don't know, do we want to promote the deal for a couple weeks from now? We're all excited about that.
Not
yet.
Not yet.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Sorry. Teasers.
Good job.
Yeah.
Forgot tomorrow was Saturday. All right. Take us, take us
I
out.
love you, Wolfie.
Hit the buttons.
I
Hit the
love you.
buttons.
Oh God.
Say it with me now. Round.